Chapter 1. The bus rolls up to Ruby's at 7:05. We pile in, file past the front seats, and spew into the rear half of the bus. I throw my legs across the bench seat. Nick and Justin sit across the aisle. The back row is usually reserved for guys in grade 12, but this year there are none. That leaves the grade 11s, me, Nick, and Justin, sole residents for 2 years. The row ahead of us belongs to Sherry, the only grade 11 girl, and a couple of miscellaneous grade 10 girls. Sherry and I have been neighbors since we were born. Our parents are friends, and we're like brother and sister, which completely sucks because Sherry is hot. And it happened this summer. She went to visit her cousin in the city, old plain Jane Sherry. She comes home 3 weeks later, boom, she's transformed. One instant we're brother and sister, the next instant she's steaming hot and I'm salivating. Now she is too good for me. I toss my backpack behind my head. I'm ready to close my eyes when I notice Sherry sits 3 rows up, 1 row behind the row of separation, next to Millie, her little sister. 2 things are wrong with this scene. The first thing is Sherry's not sitting in front of us, and second, she never talks to Millie. When I look at her, I can see there's a third thing. She's peering around, like she's expecting someone to show up. The bus jerks forward, twists around the corner, and then stops at the gas station, the Indian bus stop. They have the same priority ranking system as we do, oldest on first and the youngest up front behind the driver. With Sherry acting so weird, I figure I better keep an eye on her. When Steve gets on the bus, I sit up a little and take notice, because he's the next thing that's unusual this morning. He's a big guy, grade 12, plays rugby, a little shorter than me, but bigger. At 6'3", I'm the tallest guy in the school. But there's no doubt that Steve is the biggest guy at Rocky View High School. He has 40 or 50 pounds on me and carries it around like he's wearing football equipment. From the scars on his face, he looks like he's been in a few dust-ups. It's not like I spend my time gawking at the guy. I've just noticed a few things from getting on the same bus with him for 11 years. Steve usually stumbles on the bus, hanging his head like he's half asleep, and then falls into the last 2 rows of Indian seats. But this morning, he's standing straight up with his hair pulled back in a pussy ponytail, and he's all cleaned up like he's going somewhere special. He scans the back seats until he lays his eyes on Sherry, and then shoots her a look. Up and down, up and looks and stalls in the aisle, as if he's deciding where to sit. I drag my butt up a little, higher to get a better look. Finally, Charlie, Steve's younger brother, shoves over, and Steve hauls into the last row of Indian seats. That's not the end of it. Steve hunches up so he's half facing the back of the bus. I'm thinking he's looking for trouble, and sure enough, the look he shot Sherry's way was no mistake. He's eyeballing her. Suddenly, I'm ready to blast out of my seat and sink my fist into his face, like I caught him messing with my mother. I'm ready to go, man. Then I'm thinking, wait, until he buries himself. One more move, then I'll hammer him. Steve's got it coming. He's the kind of guy who doesn't know his place. At school, he's the man. Most of his friends, other than a few Indian guys and this chick, are rich white kids from town. He was voted the most popular guy in the school. Dad says Steve is the only Indian with that distinction. But on the bus, or at least up until now, he's minded his own business. Pretty soon, I see Sherry swinging her legs around sideways, so she's half facing Steve. I can't believe what I'm looking at. She's got her eyes plastered on him and a sloppy smile on her lips. The rules of separation in our village are clear, and everyone knows them. The most important rule is, date your own kind. Mom says that people in the city date anyone they want, no matter what color they are. Not in our village. Dad says there are a few guys who married Indians and live over there, but there are no mixed couples living on our side. I try to keep an eye on what's going on. Sherry, I call. I talk normal, like I have something to say to her. She doesn't hear. Hey, Sherry, I call again. She turns around and throws me a look as if to say I'm interrupting her. What? So what's up? I say, just trying to break their stupid spell. She shakes her head as if she can hear me. Feeling like an idiot, I shrink down into the back seat. Before I disappear, Steve shoots me a look like, what a moron. Sweat is beating up on my forehead, and I want to jump out of the seat and pound the crap out of the guy.